All right, back here on Inside Wrestling Radio, and we're up to the interview portion of the program. And this week we have in the house Scottie Wrenn. Scottie Wrenn's been around a long time. He's a friend of mine. He and I have been up and down the roads a lot. We've worked each other in the past in a lot of different shows for Brody Chase and different people like that. He started in 1997, was trained by Brody Chase and Mickey Free too, right?
Absolutely.
And these guys went through a school up there. That's where he met his tag partner in the Boogaloo crew, J.C. Daz, and worked for lots of federations here locally. Wildside up in Georgia, and Anarchy. He worked for the Christian Wrestling Federation out in Texas, you say?
Yeah, it was out of Rockwall, Texas.
And a lot of different things, and we'll talk about all that. But right now, welcome to the program, Scottie Wrenn. Scottie, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. It's a little early.
It is really early, and I appreciate you coming down, man. Well, actually, when people hear this, it'll be 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's not early technically to them, but to us it is.
Depends on how long my night was last night.
Exactly. How you been, man? What's been going on with you?
I've been good, man. Just hanging around doing what I do, just trying to make a living.
Exactly, I understand that. Now you've been. Are you currently wrestling right now?
Off and on. I mean, not a whole lot. I mean, I cut way back. I went through some personal issues the past couple of years, and I kind of stepped back, revamped on life a little bit, but I'm starting to get back into it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a bad drug, so stay away.
Tell me about it, brother. I know. And for people who may not know who you are, tell us a little bit about your history. Tell us what got you into the business. Were you always a fan? Were you brought into it by a friend? How did it happen?
I've been a fan all my life, man. And I used to work in a warehouse, and I used to work with this guy, and he knew I was a wrestling fan, and he come in one morning, and he brought me a business card. He had been at Pizza Hut, sent a business card, and it had WWC, do you want to be a star?
Yeah, I remember those old cards.
And so, of course, naturally, me being the mark that I was
right.
Like, absolutely, I want to be a star.
Mm-hmm.
I go home, and I just kind of shrugged it off, though, because I was like, this is too good to be true. It don't just fall in your lap like this.
Right, yeah.
So I went home, threw it up on the dresser, and forgot about it for about 3 or 4 weeks. And
yeah.
I was laying around, I got thinking, and I looked over and I seen that card. It was actually, I guess when I threw it on the dresser, it kind of propped up by itself.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was just meant to be, because I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I'm bored. I'm going to call see what they got to do.
Right.
So I called, and he's like, yeah, well, let's set up this interview for you.
Who'd you talk to?
I think it was, it's kind of hard to say these days. I don't know who the actual management in the office was.
Yeah.
I think it was James was the first name.
All right. But it wasn't Brody right away.
But it wasn't Brody
okay,
right away.
I got you.
Because I didn't know it was Brody.
Sure, right, yeah.
Everybody was kayfabe back then.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so they set up the interview. I had to pay $25 just to talk to him, and yeah, that's what I said to him. I was like,
yeah,
but anyway,
just for the interview.
So I was like, yeah, great. So I'll go up here and pay this $25 and see what's up. So
yeah.
I went up there and we got to talking, blah blah blah, and he started talking about a tryout coming up. Tryout's gonna cost you $300, and I'm like, oh, that's not too bad. It's a lot of money, but it's not too bad,
Yeah.
Still, that's my dream, That's what I wanted to do. So
sure.
I said, that's what's up. So I paid my $300 and coming up with that tryout. I'm gonna be honest with you, that tryout was the hardest thing I've been through in my life.
Really?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm gonna shoot these kids today.
Yeah.
They don't know nothing about training and
right.
trying out. They just pay $25 and they're a pro wrestler.
Yeah, exactly.
Not when I came through. When I came through, you got your tail whooped every day.
Give us a little bit of an example. What was those first few tryouts like?
Well, the tryout in general was an 8-hour tryout.
Really?
Legit. I mean, you spent the first 4 hours doing X amount of stuff. You took an hour lunch break, and then you spent the rest of the day doing X amount of stuff.
Yeah.
First part of the tryout was literally run till you puke.
Really?
And I mean, I'm telling you, dude, I ran so much. I ain't never ran so much in my life. And I would throw up and pass out. Throw up and pass out.
Yeah.
What separated me from everybody else was I was throwing up, passing out, but when I passed out, I got up and started running again. I didn't go cry. I needed a towel, and my fingernails are broke.
Right.
Because this is something I wanted, and that's the problem is everybody just watches TV and wants to be who's on TV.
Sure.
I wanted to be Jason Justice. That's me.
Right, yeah.
And that's who I wanted to be. So, it was what it was. So I just kept trying. Well, real quick, during this throwing up session, Mickey Free decides, hey, man, I got something to help you out. It's a nice protein bar. So I'm like, man, this guy's looking out for me. This is great,
I got me a friend.
Yeah, I got me a friend, and he's one of the trainers, too, so I'm definitely in now.
Right, yeah.
Well, little I know, this power bar that he gave me was about 2 years old. That was my first rib in the business.
Right.
In my tryouts.
Yeah.
He gives me this powdery, protein bar, and so I began to puke again. But I still got up,
Yeah.
And kept on running. But at midday, you got like an hour lunch break, and I only lived like 8 or 9 minutes from the place I was doing this at.
Yeah.
And I went home and just totally crashed for an hour. I was like, oh my God, what have I done? I wasn't going back. I was tired of puking. I was tired of running, and I was dang near in tears, to be honest with you.
Right. It wasn't what you thought it was going to be.
But then I lay there and I thought, $300. No, dog, I got to get all I can get.
You got to get my money's worth.
So I went back, and that's when they put us in the ring, and Brody decided to put his boot in my mouth, and Mickey decided to chop my chest till it bled, and,
Yeah.
just pretty much beat the crap out of me.
Right.
Yeah. But, and for the longest time I resented that. Mm-hmm. But, I've got the utmost respect for both of them now because that's what made me good. Back when I played football in school, you had your guys who started and loved the passion of football.
Sure.
Then you had those jersey wearers that
right.
wanted to be part of the team.
Just wanted to be on the team.
Hey, man, I got a number 1 jersey. Well, cool for you, So what, I like to play.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, I don't need a jersey. Just give me some shoulder pads.
Right, yeah.
So, that's what separates the jersey wearers in wrestling from, real wrestlers.
Sure.
To me. And, because if you can take all that abuse, well, when you realize this stuff's, entertainment, it's not so bad.
Right, yeah. It kind of eases up a little bit.
It kind of becomes fun. So.
Yeah. How long were you guys in training before you actually had your first show?
I trained 29 weeks.
Is that right?
Yeah, 29 weeks. I was actually a little longer because in there when I was trying to learn how to take bumps,
right.
I messed up my back just because I was just green, just scared of bumping and whatever. But I'm going to be honest with you, I'm 300 pounds and I'm one of the best big guy bumpers in the business. Right?
Yeah, and that's one thing Mickey always said about you, and I always said too, is you took some of the best bumps there. And that was one of your things, just the way you would take those sharp, crisp bumps. A lot of guys our size can't do that.
Yeah, they like the Vendetta Kane stagger bump.
Exactly. And now, so that's where you met J.C. Daz, right?
Yeah, and he's truly become one of my closest friends. He's like a brother to me now. So, yeah, he and I kind of started training together, and God knows he was just a natural gifted athlete, man.
Yeah, he was, and I saw some of his early stuff, and we called him the natural. Just gave him that gimmick.
The natural Dale Hedden.
Yeah, before Dustin Rhodes ever came out with it, we were calling him the natural because that guy could just pick it up. Anything you tell him, man, he was doing.
I told you earlier, man, the more he stays out of wrestling, the better he gets. I don't get it. And guys like me had to put everything in and just learn how to bump.
Right, exactly. Put a few things together.
This guy walks in, he bumps out of his mama's belly,
Exactly. Now, you and he, y'all teamed up and formed the Boogaloo Crew. Tell us a little bit about the Boogaloo Crew.
We actually started that, man, when he and I was in WWC with Brody and Mickey, and we got to a point in our careers that we was just like, it's time for us to do something for us.
Right.
He and I, were like best friends, and we was like, you know what, let's do this tag team thing, and we was just kind of confused on what we wanted to do, and we got hooked up with SCW down in Greer when Jim Lewis used to run it.
Right.
I remember we was going for a tryout at SCW, so we're heading down the road, and we're like, what are we going to do? We want to be a tag team, but what are we going to do? And we was like, well, I don't know. So we decided, and if people that know me now are going to be like, huh? We decided we was going to be wannabe black guy. I listened to a lot of, Eazy-E and and Beastie Boys and stuff like that when I was coming up. MC Wrenn was part of the group.
Right, NWA.
And DJ Daz. So I thought, hey, Wrenn and Daz.
That's fantastic.
And then we just kind of took some first names and put with it. And believe it or not, I was JC Daz before he was JC Daz.
Right, that's kind of like Mickey and I. Yeah. I wanted to be Mickey Free, and he didn't want to be Ricky Rigo, so he kind of swapped. Yeah.
So I was JC Daz first, but then I was like, kind of like I went to Wrenn High School too, by the way, so I thought Wrenn.
Right, gotcha.
That'll work, so I stuck with that.
Scotty, let's hold you up right there. We're up on a break. When we get back, we want to talk a little bit about your relationship with Ronnie Gossett and your UCW. And I also hear you had some controversy up in Greenville the other week.
Yeah, I just had a hemp slap a couple.
All right, we'll talk about that. We'll be right back. More Inside Wrestling Radio with Scottie Wrenn coming up next.